So if you listen to it on the web, it's
Okay.
Rob Rabin, Rabbin.
Okay.
Very well-known guy who's amazing. Okay, wait a minute. Good morning and welcome to our second hour of Seeing Beyond today. And I'm here with one of your favorites, Linda Crouse Anderson. She is a natural, empathic, intuitive, master clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, specializing in angel readings. That means she's got a connection to the beyond. And I know that many of you are going to want to participate in our conversation. It's one of my favorite things to do with you Seeing Beyond listeners, because I love to hear what's going on in your lives. So Linda's going to be available for taking your calls. She always asks for permission to talk with your angels. And you know me, I'll put in my 2 cents worth if I happen to come up with that with my own psychic abilities and intuition. Linda, my friend, it's so good to have you back here on Seeing Beyond.
Thank you so much, Bonnie. It's great being here.
Well, and as I pointed out in my last hour with Rob Rabin talking about authenticity and his book, The Authenticity Accelerator, this is a little stretch for me because we're actually filming today. Honey is here filming us.
That would be my manifestation.
That's her manifestation, which we'll be talking about. So Honey is here behind the camera. It's too bad he's behind the camera because he's kind of a hunk, isn't he?
I think so.
Hi, Honey. Say hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. We'll have to talk about where she met Honey. You've been married how long now, Linda?
June 4th was a year.
Oh my goodness sakes, it seems like yesterday to me. What about to you?
Oh, same thing here.
Oh my goodness sakes. We've got so much to talk about today, so many phone calls to take, and just these times, Linda, I think it's so important to really see beyond, to not only ask for help, but to know we're going to receive it, to count on help. And, you know, you and Doreen Virtue have talked over and over again about the importance of asking. Sometimes the angels can get in the way of a semi-truck that's just about to hit us and cream us. But for the most part, they respond, they do our bidding when we ask them to. Speak to that, Linda.
Well, it's all by will, free will of the universe, where we have to ask them to intervene. Otherwise, they don't really know that we want them to or need them to.
And there's something about free will in all of this. In other words, they don't want to, you know, we've got to learn our lessons here too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, it's funny, you talk about Doreen, and I'm reading her book, the original one, The Lightworker Way, and fabulous book. Fabulous. And it's helping me so much brush up on things.
You know, she's going to be at East West Books in Mountain View the beginning of July. I don't have the exact date here, but you can go to eastwest.com and find out when Doreen Virtue is going to be there. Oh my gosh, that you better make your reservation the second you heard it out of my mouth, because I'm telling you that is going to be filled, and if I can possibly make it, I'm going to be there too. Yes, the angels want us to ask them for their assistance, and that's why when our folks call in and want to talk with you, you always say, may I have permission to speak to your angels?
Exactly.
Go into a little more detail about
and
that.
And they want to help us. That's what they're here for. They want us to be happy.
But they're respectful of us.
They're very respectful.
Does that mean they're respectful of our privacy? I mean, are they spying on me at all times in my life? Do I have some times when the curtain's closed?
I wouldn't say they're spying.
Okay.
Maybe they're just sitting there.
Sorry, Angel.
Sitting there reading a book or something, you know, in case you may need them.
Right.
But we all know who we call for at those times.
Right. All right, so this is being filmed by your husband. We'll call him Honey.
Yes.
And this is going to be shown on your cable television program. What's the name of that? How can people see me with that?
Oh, you look beautiful.
Well,
You are
thank
beautiful.
You know, I think it's kind of funny. People go, "Oh my gosh, Bonnie, you do radio. I mean, don't you want to be on television?" I go, "No, no, no. I like being behind the scenes. I like being behind the mic. That's more my style.
Right,
But
right.
I'm willing to do it. You asked, and of course, if somebody asks me to do something, and you know, I
And
think
I
it's
appreciate
stretchy,
it
I go,
so much.
okay, I'll do it. So tell us about your television program, so Sing Beyond listeners can see us.
Well, it's on KMVT. That's channel 15?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, honey.
That's channel 15 in Mountain View, and it shows in Los Altos, in Mountain View, in, I believe, parts of Sunnyvale and Cupertino. And you can also see it on YouTube. You can see all the past...
You mean people all over the world are going to be able to watch us?
Yeah.
Wow. And hear us too, because we're being streamed live now on KESTradio.com.
That's right.
I am telling you, Linda, things have changed so much since when I started Sing Beyond. Somebody said to me, "You know, Bonnie, I think you ought to get a fax machine for your office." And I go, "Why would I need that?" So, I mean, we used to actually lick envelopes to send a contract, and put a stamp on it. And now, literally, I can send somebody a contract for marketing and advertising within, 15 seconds?
Yeah.
Even if they're in South Africa. I mean, it's just so amazing.
Yeah.
We've got about 5 minutes before our first break, and it's been a while since you've told your story. You have had an unusually, I would call it fortunate childhood,
Mm-hmm.
in that you were not raised by naysayers. You were raised by folks who believed in what my family would call all this stuff. Speak to that.
Well, great-grandma was a medium. She emigrated from Sweden at about 17, and she died just a couple months shy of 100. So when she came to San Francisco, she joined the Spiritualist Church. So we were pretty much raised on that thing, going to Grandma's house every Sunday. We got to drink coffee, and we'd hear about who came to visit Grandma. My mother was a minister in Sylvia Brown's church.
Amazing.
And then there's me, and I took over, and I've always had these gifts. And even though, as a child, I was supported. The first time I ever saw an angel, she was going down the middle of the street. I woke up in the middle of the night and saw this beautiful blonde woman with long blonde flowing hair. And I looked, and she's just kind of floating down the street and then disappeared. And so I told my mother, and she goes, "Well, Linda, that was your guardian angel." And so that was the way conversations went about this. Now, it's funny because in Doreen's book, it's kind of like, yes, a lot of that went on in the house, but it was also, don't let this go elsewhere.
Don't tell anybody at school, Linda.
Right, because, we
They'll
might
think
be...
we're all crazy.
So it was a very, very nurturing atmosphere.
You are so lucky for that. And, I'm a grandma, which
Yeah.
means I'm also a mom. I was a teacher for 7 years. Give the teachers, the grandparents, the parents out there some suggestions for raising these crystal children who are coming in now. I mean, let's face it, they are really open. They're wise, but in a very spiritual, metaphysical way. How do we nurture them? How do we make the best of their gifts and talents?
Well, when they're talking about their imaginary friend, they're talking about experiences they're having. Talk to them about it and ask them.
Yeah, get the story.
Right. It's so funny. We were in this restaurant in La Honda a couple months ago, and this little girl came up to the table. And this is something I got from Dorothy Tayo. She tells me, when you find children below a certain age, ask them this question. And so she came up and she was talking to us, and I said, "Who were you before you were you?"
Ooh, what a question.
And she was just she wanted it to tell me so bad. She was just like, and I knew she had a story to tell, but she couldn't she couldn't let it out. She didn't know how to let it out.
Dorothy Tayo, of course, is one of your teachers. I just interviewed her here on Seeing Beyond. She is the director of the Palo Alto School of Hypnotherapy. And I mentioned that because Linda is, well, she has an office at the Palo Alto School of Hypnotherapy. She heard, now this is what I mean about Linda. She doesn't just hear something. She doesn't just listen. She hears. She doesn't just listen and hear. She takes action. And it's because you keep taking action that you are where you are today. I mean, a monthly guest on Seeing Beyond, heard round the world. Now you've got your own television program. You're now certified through the Palo Alto School of Hypnotherapy. So you can work with Linda in a variety of ways. You can, first of all, I'll put out the number in just a moment. You can call us here, and we'll both give you our 2 cents worth about what your question is, what's going on in your life. This is Bonnie Colleen, and I want to ask the question, are you a licensed mental health professional needing continuing education credits? Have you noticed clients struggling more during these times of increased stress and change? Well, on Saturday, June 25th, you are invited to join Jennifer Grobe, LCSW, for a 6-hour workshop. It's called Unacknowledged Loss and Hidden Grief, Awakening and Releasing the Past. So call Jennifer at 510-642-4111, 510-642-4111, or log on to extension.berkeley.edu and register for course number 405886. 405886. Call Jennifer at 510-642-4111. Alrighty, you guys, we're sitting here waiting for your phone calls, wanting to hear what is going on in your life. I have been a psychic now for about 25 years. It's kind of interesting to me that I must have had these abilities as a child, but they were pretty well squelched. And then I took one class in psychic spiritual development, and all of a sudden it's like the floodgates opened. So I actually did psychic readings professionally for about 10 years. Now I'm so busy with Seeing Beyond that I don't do that anymore. But I'm more than happy to take phone calls this morning and talk with you about what's going on in your life. So is our guest here today, Linda Croce Anderson. I call her the angel lady and the queen of manifesting because this woman has done so much with her life. So she'll answer your question from the perspective of what your angel or angels are saying, and I will address your question from the perspective of whatever I get. And if you wanted to say, well, Bonnie, do you have a specialty? I would say that over the past years, my specialty has been past life readings. I don't know why, but they seem to come through. So oftentimes, and Linda, I think you'll back me up on this, so many times when a person has a question or a concern about an area in their life, especially if it's happened before in their life, it seems like a pattern. It's usually because they've been here before, done that before, and this is the time to let go of it and release it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's why we do past life regression, so that you can see where the issue began and just know that that was the reason for it and let it go.
Alrighty, so the number to be on the air with us, I'm Bonnie Colleen. My guest, Linda Croce Anderson, 415-543-8255, 415-543-8255. Call in with one specific question, please. Well, I'm not kidding when I call you the queen of manifesting. You have done so much of that in your life. And since we've got Honey here photographing us right now, the reason I'm calling him Honey, and we're having a kind of fun with this, is I said, Linda, have the cameraman come in now. We're ready. And she goes, Honey. So who has time for formal introductions when you're on live radio? So, Honey, it's nice to meet you. And he's a hunk.
Oh,
so,
thank you.
You've been married for a little over a year. One of the big questions Seeing Beyond listeners call in about, one of our hottest topics, is relationship. How did you guys meet?
Well, actually, we met at a spiritual singles event.
Oh, that's good.
You know, I was kind of at the point where I would meet men, and I guess they thought maybe I was going to turn their kids into toads or something. And I thought, I have to find people more on the same wavelength as myself. So I found a woman who was holding these spiritual singles events, and we held one at my condo at the pool house there. And I had seen him on, it was a meetup, so I had seen his profile and a picture of him, and I thought, he's some short little Russian guy. And obviously,
it looked very short to me.
And he turned out to be a big, handsome Brazilian guy. And anyway, we went to this thing, and I was sitting there, I was talking to people, and he came in late, of course. He's good Brazilian time. And he just sat there and stared at me and smiled at me the whole time.
So have you two been together before this lifetime, Linda?
I really think we might have. I really think we might have, because the next day we went on a date, and we've been together ever since. And that was in a year ago, November, and we got married in June.
How do you know that this is it? This is the one. This is somebody you want to get married to.
Well, I think both of us were ready. I had been single for about 10 years. I was married, for 25 years previously. So, and he was ready.
You got married when you were 12.
19, pretty close. And, he was ready. And so I think when you're both ready and you're putting those signals out there, and it just, I automatically felt comfortable with him. And I think he obviously felt comfortable.
Look at these phone lines, Linda. They're all lit up. Okay,
Christmas.
Let's go to, it's Christmas in June. I love that. Brandon is in San Francisco. Good morning, Brandon.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, we can hear you loud and clearly. Okay, Brandon, what's your question for Linda Croce-Anderson and me? I'm the host of all this, Bonnie Colleen.
Hi, thanks for having me on. My question is about love.
Good.
And it's Pride weekend, and I'm really excited about it. And my question is about what my guides or angels can tell me about meeting someone and when it will be, and someone who I really connect with on a soul level and who we really get each other's essence.
I don't normally ask this, Brandon, but I want to ask you, how old are you?
I'm 29.
29. Okay. All right, Linda, you start.
Okay. Brandon, can I speak with your angels?
Absolutely.
Okay. Brandon, I'm definitely, and I'm feeling this in my gut. Somebody is coming into your life. Now, however, my suggestion as to when, I really can't tell you that. Well, actually, what's coming in right now is fall. But that's about as far as I can go with that one. My suggestion to you would be, write down all those qualities that are very, very important to you, okay? And put, the internal qualities, not necessarily the looks sort of thing, okay? You can put that at the end because it's your party and it's up to you, and, we have to see who we're attracted to. Now, go ahead, put all those down, read them out to the universe, put them under your pillow, and this is what we call putting our intention out to the universe. And what will happen is then you will manifest, okay? And that will bring that person into your life.
And Brandon, this is from the woman who has created so many things in her life, and we'll be telling more of Linda Croce-Anderson's story as the program continues this hour. But, I think people sometimes, Linda, hear you and me on the radio or any of my other guests on the radio, and they think, well, that's Bonnie and Linda, or well, that's Bonnie and Rob, or whoever I'm interviewing, but they probably had it really easy or whatever. Oh. And I can tell you, I've heard Linda's story, and it ain't always been pretty. It hasn't always been easy. But it's a matter of taking the higher road and realizing that you can do it. Hi, Brandon. This is Bonnie Colleen. Are you there, Brandon?
Hi.
Hi. Hi, okay. This is your lifetime to be outspoken. I wrote that word down almost the second I heard you. And you had a lifetime, it looks like it was in Greece, where you were the star pupil of a Greek scholar. And I mean, it wasn't Aristotle, but it was somebody who was well respected, well known, and you were really, he took you under his wing. And he did it because you were beautiful, you were male, you were beautiful, and you were also extremely brilliant. And I think you're very smart this lifetime, and I think you're pretty good looking too. And he deceived you. He really betrayed you. And I don't need to go into all those details right now. We don't have the time anyway. But the fact of the matter is that you've got to let go of that lifetime because you are afraid of being deceived. If something is going on with you where you haven't quite cleared that yet, so hopefully this is going to clear it. And then I don't know where in the world I got this, and this is why I asked your age. But I got the number 36, and I'm not saying that you're going to have to wait until you're 36 until you get a relationship. But let me ask you, does that number mean anything to you? Say a name of the age of a parent, or what your parent did at that age, or a brother or sister, or a former lover, or anything that 36 resonates with you?
Not that I can think of, no.
All right, we'll take that in because 36 that's going to be a very important year from you. And I remember having a psychic, Dottie Boone, tell me that Seeing Beyond was really going to take off in the year 2012. And she told me that in about 1990. And I looked at her and I said, what? I have to wait that many years? You've got to be kidding. You know what? Honestly, Brandon, I blinked once. And here I am, and it's almost 2012. So I feel like you are, at the very least, the 36 came through because you are going to come into your own at 36. Doesn't mean that you aren't already there in a big way, but you're really going to come into your own at 36, maybe even writing a book. And I'm telling you that you keep looking at that number and see what comes up for you, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brandon.
All right, we got Brandon's line available at 415-543-8255, 415-543-8255. We're going to come back, take some more calls. We're also going to be coming back and talking about some of the bumps along the way in Linda Croce Anderson's life. Because you know what? I don't care who beamed you in, Scotty. You're going to have some challenges, It's how we handle those challenges. Or like Richard Bach said in his book, Illusions, argue for your limitations, and sure enough, they'll be yours. All right, we'll be back. Seeing Beyond. Let's take a caller again.
Okay.
Oh, welcome back. I'm Bonnie Colleen, and we're here with Linda Croce Anderson. Linda and I are filming this. I would say Linda is filming it. Her husband is actually doing the filming.
Honey's
filming it. She's directing it. And I'm just here. So thank you for that opportunity. And again, how can people see us?
Okay, they can see us. Now, it's going to be probably in a few weeks, but it will be on YouTube. All you have to do is type in Silicon Valley Metaphysics.
Okay.
And you'll see all the past shows, and you'll probably see Bonnie's little picture.
Okay, and if they want to watch us on television, when would that be? You don't know the exact date, but how do they get onto your television program, and what night is it?
Wednesdays at 10.
Is that 10 p.m.?
10 p.m.
Okay.
KMVT, and that's channel 15 in Mountain View. And you can also see from Los Altos, Sunnyvale, parts of Cupertino.
All right, thank you for that. And by the way, I want to say to Brandon that you got something about the 36.
I did 36. 36 is the age of the person he's going to meet.
Ooh, an older man. And when she said that, boom, your past life came in so fast and furiously, Brandon. He is the teacher from that past life. He is the Greek teacher from that past life. So if you want to make this relationship work, which could be phenomenal, you've got to let go of the past because he's not going to betray you this lifetime. So this is all about you talking to him authentically, truthfully, in the moment, and trusting. All right, back to the phone lines. All right, this is Greg. Greg's in Fremont. Hi there, Greg. You're here with me. I'm Bonnie Colleen and Linda Croce Anderson. All right, back to the phone lines. All right, this is Greg. Greg's in Fremont. Hi there, Greg. You're here with me. I'm Bonnie Colleen and Linda Cross Anderson, and that's not a bird. Kwong is turning down the something or other. Do you have a bird in there, Kwong? No, he doesn't. Okay. Hi there, Greg.
Hi, Bonnie and Linda. Thank you for having me on your show. Just want to ask a quick question. I really feel like a shift is happening in my life. Had a couple years of bad financial stuff going on, not working. My father passed away, now moving on, and I just have a lot of things coming at me all at one time. Going to graduate school, I'm wondering if I'm going to have one more career in my lifetime. So I guess that's my question.
Okay, Greg. Can I speak with your angels?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Yes, you are going to have a different career, maybe even two. Okay?
Yeah.
First off, my condolences regarding your father.
Thank you.
And the work situation, we've got to let go of that. This is so over. This is so disco ball over. I'm not buying into that anymore, and I don't think anybody else should. So we've got to let that go, but absolutely I see you doing something else. You know, I don't know, this came in, and you tell me if this means anything to you, but you say you're going to graduate school, but I had flying come into my head. Are you planning a trip somewhere? Are you flying to school? Obviously, pilots don't go to graduate school.
No, I've thought about moving somewhere. So possibility, that's what you're seeing.
Okay. But I definitely see another career for you.
Thank you.
Okay?
Greg, where do you want to move?
Well, I would like to live in Hawaii for a year or two, not too much longer than that, and come back. And I would like to probably do it in the next 5 years. So I don't know if that's going to happen, but it's a dream. That's what I want to do.
You're absolutely going to do that. You absolutely need to do that. You know, it's interesting. Doreen Virtue lives in Kauai. Wayne Dyer lives in Maui. My good friends Trish and Doug of Dolphin Spirit of Hawaii, you might want to check out their website. They live on the island of Hawaii. Somebody else I just interviewed lives on Hawaii. I can't remember offhand. But there is something going on in the islands right now that is very important you tap into. I wouldn't give up graduate school for it. I'd finish it. What are you studying in graduate school?
Transpersonal psychology.
Oh,
perfect. Okay, and your dad, I don't know what your relationship was like with him while he was here on the planet, but he's very proud of you and he is with you. So, you know, ask for him to give you messages. Ask for him to talk with you and see him as now a guide for you.
I agree.
You know, Greg, Kona is a very spiritual place, and if I'm not wrong,
Kona?
I think Doreen lives
She
in
lives there.
Kona.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so maybe you would like to check out some schools on the island there.
Yeah.
I'm almost positive you'd find something there.
So, Greg, the important thing here for me is that both you and Brandon are what I call the new males emerging. And you are a different breed of cat, so to speak, than, say, my father, and certainly than my grandfathers. And we're so glad that you're out there and that you're listening to Seeing Beyond. And as for me, I'm really glad that you're going to be a counselor. I think that's so important. And thank you so much for calling in. All right, we got